What if I told you that Fantasia Barrino reached a point in her life where everything changed so quietly, so suddenly that even the people closest to her stood in shock? At 41, the woman who came from pain, poverty, and endless struggles stepped into a season that no one expected. You won't believe how her life shifted because the story didn't start with fame. It started with wounds she carried long before the world ever knew her name. Let me tell you, nothing about her journey was simple. She grew up in Greenville, North Carolina, where life was heavy, responsibilities were too many, and hope felt like a luxury. Even as a young girl, she fought battles that should never fall on a child. Money problems, family pressure, and emotional pain shaped her every single day. But here's the shocking part. Even in the middle of all that darkness, she discovered something that kept her alive. Her voice. Music was not a dream for her in the beginning. Music was survival. It was the only thing that made her feel seen. The only thing that made her believe she mattered. When she sang, she released all the pain she kept inside. This is where it gets interesting because her voice wasn't just beautiful. It was powerful in a way that made strangers stop and listen. It was full of hurt, full of truth, full of the kind of emotion you can't fake. But life never stopped testing her. As a teenager, she broke down more times than she could count. People doubted her. Situations crushed her. And even the dreams she held close felt too far to reach. She fell into heartbreak, disappointment, and moments where she felt she was fighting alone. Still, destiny took an unexpected turn. The opportunity that changed everything came when she stepped onto the stage of American Idol. And the craziest part, she didn't walk in with confidence. She walked in with fear, with insecurity, with the weight of her entire life on her shoulders. But the moment she opened her mouth, the judges felt something unforgettable. The world felt something unforgettable. Her audition wasn't polished. It wasn't perfect. It was raw. It was honest. It was real. What makes this story different is that she wasn't singing to win a show. She was singing to save herself. Every lyric, every breath, every high note carried the story of a girl who had been knocked down again and again, but still stood up. Winning American Idol was the turning point everyone saw. But here's the shocking part. People celebrated her victory without knowing the storms she still carried inside. The night she won, she smiled for the cameras, but nobody saw the years of pain behind that smile. Nobody saw the moments she cried alone. Nobody saw the fear that even success might not be enough to heal everything she had survived. The world saw a rising star, but she still felt the same broken girl from Greenville, trying to understand why life kept testing her. And this was only the beginning. Fame came fast. Pressure came faster. Expectations from fans, interviews, performances, nonstop attention, everything hit her at once. And while everyone thought she was living her dream, she was really fighting battles she never talked about. Let me tell you, the life of a celebrity looks bright from far away. But up close, it can feel like a trap. She tried to stay strong, tried to stay thankful, but her heart was tired. The spotlight that once felt like a blessing now felt like a cage. She wanted to breathe. She wanted peace. She wanted something real. But destiny wasn't done with her yet. And the next turns in her story were even more intense, more emotional, and more shocking than anything she had faced before. She stepped deeper into fame. But with every new milestone, she felt something shifting inside her. You won't believe how quickly the excitement of success turned into a heaviness she didn't know how to handle. She performed on the biggest stages, smiled for the cameras, and gave interviews that made the world think she was living her best life. But here's the shocking part. Behind those bright lights, she was slowly falling apart. The pressure was so intense that even breathing felt like another responsibility. People watched every move she made. Every song, every appearance, every small mistake became a headline. The same voice that once saved her was now trapped inside expectations she never asked for. Let me tell you, fame did not come with peace. It came with noise, opinions, and constant demands. Even her closest relationships started breaking under the weight of her career. Friends pulled away. Family didn't always understand, and she often found herself alone in crowded rooms. The craziest part was that the world loved her talent, but very few cared about her heart. She cried silently, prayed quietly, and hid her pain behind performances that looked powerful but were built on exhaustion. And this is where it gets interesting because during this time something inside her began calling her back to her roots, back to the music that wasn't just music. It was healing. Gospel and worship songs started pulling her in again. But here's the shocking part. This shift didn't sit well with everyone around her. Some people in the industry called it a bad career decision. Some fans complained that she was abandoning the music they loved. Others whispered that she was losing her focus. What makes the story different is that she wasn't chasing fame anymore. She was chasing herself. She felt empty even at the top. She felt lost even while winning awards. And slowly she realized that the applause she worked so hard for could not fix the wound she had ignored for years. Let me tell you how things took another unexpected turn. She started turning down opportunities that didn't match her soul. She said no to events, projects, and people who drained her spirit. That decision shocked everyone around her. Some couldn't believe she would walk away from chances most artists would die for. But she wasn't trying to please anyone anymore. She was trying to survive. And destiny took an unexpected turn once again when she returned to worship spaces. Singing not for fame, not for money, but for peace. In those small intimate rooms, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Freedom. This is where the story becomes even more twisting. Even though she was finding spiritual comfort, her emotional battles grew stronger. The pressure of public life didn't go away. The stress behind closed doors didn't magically disappear. She still faced anxiety, breakdowns, and days where she questioned everything. She felt the weight of her past and the confusion of her present all at once. And even though she looked stronger on stage, she felt fragile inside. But here's the shocking part. The world thought she was finally stable, finally healed. But they had no idea that her biggest storm was just beginning. Even as Fantasia tried to find peace, life kept testing her in ways she never imagined. You won't believe how many private battles she fought while the world only saw her smile. She started to realize that success, awards, and applause could not heal the emptiness she carried inside. Let me tell you, every day was a struggle to stay grounded. She prayed more, reflected more, and spent hours alone with her thoughts trying to make sense of everything she had been through. And this is where it gets interesting because in those quiet moments, she faced truths she had avoided for years. She confronted past mistakes, childhood scars, and heartbreaks she never let herself feel. LD.